I struggled with deciding to upload this or not because in this one I only used this patch as a macro. Not really as the original that you hear in the very beginning. So with that said, I think sometimes you're just going to end up using macros to totally warp the sound and kind of bail on the original patch. So with that said, the first thing on the list was putting an empty envelope on the oscillator pitch. If you look at my second envelope, it's sending the modulation oscillator, oscillators 1 through 3, all up 2 octaves. But over here, you're not seeing anything. It's just a straight line. So naturally, when this patch is just playing normally, this is going to have no effect on it. It's as though these are all turned off because a straight line isn't going to do anything. One of the things I have this macro attached to, though, is the level of envelope 2, effectively being the sustain. I've used this blank envelope method in several patches, but if you attach it to the pitch, it's a really great way to have a different mode of the sound because putting an envelope on the pitch is always going to do something pretty cool. Whether or not you decide to use it is up to you, but I like using pitch envelopes all the time. Unlike most macros that I do, you won't be able to slowly automate this up. It's pretty much going to be stuck all the way up or all the way down. Listen to what it sounds like going from completely off to completely on. Kind of a cool riser effect, I suppose, but overall it's not very subtle at all. So a lot of these you can just gradually bring it in, which is nice for making verses more intense or making choruses more intense, but this one it's just going to be stuck for the most part all the way up or all the way down. Next, we're talking about effects and how to utilize Massive's effects that come within it versus using external plugins, or in some cases, both, like I did with this song. I have the plugin delay turned off, and I have Massive's delay damping the delays that you hear. So instead of just hearing a clear repeat, it's going to come back in with a little bit of a low pass filter. So let me show you what it sounds like without damping on. And with damping all the way on. You don't hear it very much at all right down here. To get the most out of a delay effect, you're probably going to bring this up around 3, 5 o'clock. Then you get a full raging delay. But if you want to get an overall better effect sound, I like to have Massives be a little bit more subtle if possible, and then bring in another delay to finish the job. If I had left Massive's delay going full on, this is what it would sound like with a stacked delay. Just a lot going on. So I don't really like how that sounds so much as when I have just a little bit of delay and then that kind of amplified with the second one. Now listen to what it would have sounded like if I only had this kind of damped mode. Pretty subtle. So having this external effect really brings some life into it. This same rule can be applied for the reverbs, the flange, the phasers, all of which, if you just have a little subtle effect in Massive and then amplify it with another external plugin, you get more control, sounds better, sucks less. This one will be pretty quick, but it's an important distinction to talk about at some point during our sound design quest. You might already know that parallel mode allows the signal to travel from the oscillators to each filter separately without either filter getting in the other one's way. Sounds great. A lot of the times though, I'll just kind of see this knob hang out in parallel mode just cuz, not for any real particular reason. Or, of course, it'll end up in serial mode. Here's when and why I like to have it in parallel mode. In this case, I have a screen filter and an acid filter, and I want you to listen to what it sounds like when we're only listening to one of the filters. Scream first. Sounds pretty high, not too bad. Now just acid. A little low, a little meatier, but definitely less bright. I leave it in the middle here so you get the best of both worlds. You get the low meat and you get the high brightness. I might be more afraid to just have this filter go after the high end if I didn't have this filter to have my back. If down here I just focus on the low end and the mid-range, together they're going to make a great sound. So in summary, if you're going to have two filters in parallel mode, try to make sure that each has a different objective. One going after a specific frequency range, and the other going after a different range. They don't necessarily have to be focused on just frequency range. They can accomplish other things, like one being the loud one, the other being the soft one being the attack phase, the other being the decay phase. But overall, when you use parallel mode, use them differently rather than just slightly being different versions of the same signal. That's it for this one. Feel free to shoot me an email for any mastering requests, and I'll see you guys next time.
Wow.